Hello, you all. Welcome to another Master Relationship Mechanic show. So we can celebrate it. We have made it through another week. We are here. I am Courtney Lee Smith. I help you get from what could have been to should have been to what will be. And what will be is your best relationships with God, self, and others. That's what will be this month of April. We are talking about don't be the fool. Don't be the fool in your relationships. Don't allow your own response and reactions to tear apart your relationship. And today I have the honor and the pleasure to talk with Dr. Tyra Gardner. She is all about learning how to manage anger. And that is what we're going to be talking about today is anger management. And it was three scriptures that really just stirred up my soul when we're talking about this anger management. And it started off with Psalms 4. Great day, Lisa. You're always here supporting us. Psalms 4:4. It starts off, be angry and do not sin. But then it goes a little further and it says, meditate within your heart on your bed and be still. I mean, get yourself still, lay down, don't have a fit. And that's why I said we got to be in control of our response and our reaction. Then it goes into Ephesians 4:26, and it repeats, be angry and do not sin. Do not let the sun go down on your wrath. I mean, deal with your situation. Deal with it. And then further in Psalms 37:8, it says, refrain from anger and turn from wrath. Do not fret. It leads only to evil. So we're going to jump in, bring Dr. Tyrone. Great morning, Dr. White. Great morning. Thank you for jumping in. While we're
Good
talking about
morning.
don't be this fool in our relationship, we are here with an anger management. And Dr. Tyra Gardner is going to tell us how we can not act the fool in our relationships. Before we jump into not being a fool, we want to hear about the wonderful Dr. Tyra. Tell us about you and how we can connect with you and what is it and how you became Dr. Tyra.
Oh, well, good morning, everyone. My name is Tyra Gardner. I am a psychotherapist and nationally certified anger management specialist. I have been in practice now, my private practice, I've been in private practice now for 6 years. I have been a therapist, a psychotherapist for over 25 years. And so I work with everyone. I work with people who have depression, anxiety, as well as anger. I became Anger Dr. Tyra. That's what I call myself on IG. I became Anger Dr. Tyra because I found that I had some issues with some anger. And so what happened, I was sitting back and I was just like, I was at work and my job was saying, I want people to specialize in anger. And so as they were talking about specializing in anger, my friends started talking about, you know what? Maybe we need to talk to somebody with some expertise in anger. Why don't you go get the credentials so this way we be on the right track? And so I said, okay. I said, well, you know what, y'all right. I'm gonna go do this. And so I went, got the training, and it was like so funny because I knew I would say I have a twinge a little bit, but then as I was in my class here, I go, wait a minute. I said, oh, I said, wait a minute. Let me work on myself while I'm here. And that's when I discovered I was like, okay, I said, this is for me. I said, because when you choose a specialty, it should be something
Yes.
that you have gone through,
Amen.
and how you were able to navigate yourself back to your reality so that you don't continue on with these types of behaviors. And so I wasn't like running around town just, doing things, but I knew where I would allow other people's issues to manifest into me and allow me to become angry with others. And so I, made the choice that I wasn't allowing that to continue happening in my life, and I wanted to be able to be out there to start helping others so that they can manifest a more positive destiny for themselves.
I like that. The positive destiny. And the key that you said is when you specialize in something, it should be something that you have gone through, some experience, something that you can say, okay, this is an actionable plan because I've walked it. I'm not just talking it. So when you're
Mhm.
out there listening to somebody to sit and have a conversation, whatever it
Mhm.
is they specialize in, look at the walk and talk. Does it align? So if they
Mhm.
got issues in their marriage and they telling you that they are a marriage counselor, you be like, oh, pass, let's walk to the next one. Because nobody should be perfect in their life. But whatever it is they telling you they specialize in,
Mhm.
that is something they're telling you that they have worked it out and they are doing the walk in that
Mhm.
particular area. So we just be careful when we are taking upon people to help us on our journey, making sure we don't get tripped up over their things. Because that
Right.
could be very bad. Somebody comes to you for
Mhm.
anger counseling, and then you telling them how to act up and have a tantrum. You know, it made me think about that this song.
Mhm.
I'm gonna bust your windows out in your car. That's really not the right response and reaction. You know,
Right.
busting
Not
people's
the
windows
right.
out in your car. So, if we haven't got to a place of maturity to explain to somebody else instead of saying, "Girl, if I was you," you know,
Mhm.
that's what happens when we're speaking from that kind of place. So it was
Right.
good that you are transparent enough, and like you said, you got in the training and say, "Hey, this is me they're talking to,"
Mhm.
so this is me. And for everybody out there, I want you to hear she didn't say she was going out there like blowing off on people. All of us have been angry. All
Mhm.
of us have been angry. Otherwise, it would not be written in scripture three times telling you what not to do with your anger. It was
Right.
not something that we get. But the point of it is to learn how to control the anger and put it in a
Mhm.
positive place. So, how can we do that so we don't look foolish? How can we say, okay, I'm angry at a person or I'm angry at myself? What are some steps that we can take so we don't mess up additional relationships?
Yeah, so for number one is basically being able to identify what your anger is and what your triggers are when it comes to anger. Because I talk about the 11 types of anger, because there are, 11 types of anger that people can have. And a lot of people do believe that they don't have anger issues until they sit through one of my seminars. And then they like, okay, they come in, I don't have problems, I'm fine. And then before the end, it all comes out, and sometimes it be just the littlest things like like a rattling of a bag makes the people angry to people outside doing things to them to cause them increased anger. But tips that we can use is number one, being able to identify what's causing you anger. Number two, being able to sit back and talk to people when you are feeling angry about what it is you're angry about. But the third thing we need to do is make sure we have self control. You have to have self control, and you have to think before you respond to anyone when you're experiencing anger. Okay? Know when to say no.
Yes.
No is like the number one word that causes a whole lot of anger. Reason because no, people look at no as a word of rejection. But what people need to understand is no is not a word of rejection. It's a power word that means next opportunity. What's going on right now might not be for me, but it might be for someone else. So I'm just going to wait until I can find what's working best for me. When having anger, being able to identify a solution, that's definitely important. Thinking about positive solutions, and knowing when to let it go. All these people out here
Yes.
holding grudges. You can't hold a grudge. You have to be able to let it go. Because when we hold grudges and we don't let it go, it manifests throughout our body and it causes physical problems, along with the depression and everything else that we might be experiencing mentally. So we definitely have to know when to take charge of our lives, practice relaxation skills, when you start to feel angry, whether it's a form of meditation, being able to, go out and exercise, know when to seek help,
Woo,
when you start feeling like it goes, it's getting too much, because that's another thing. A lot of people don't like to admit when they need help for something, you know. Um, Also, know when to stay in your lane. I see, we all see where people will focus on other people's business and not focus on their own. and all of a sudden they're now involved. You know, so if an issue is not relating you, you know to take a step back, know to remove yourself, know
Yeah.
when to include yourself into people's ish because it's not for you, and always remember never to respond when you're angry. When you respond when you're angry, the outcome never ever goes well. So we definitely need people to understand that we need to think first, calm down, think first, then respond. You know what I mean? If you need to remove
Yeah.
yourself from the place. Remove yourself from where you're at. Because what happens if you don't remove yourself and allow yourself time to process what's happening, what happens is the end result is can be a catastrophe that you really don't want to deal with. So allow yourself time to decompress and to understand what is actually happening and know that whatever decision that you make is not a wrong decision. That this decision is the right decision for you. Hope I wasn't long winded.
Oh, no, no, no. I loved it. Because me and you have talked. I've been blessed to be on your platform before, and we talked about this anger being a very big component of grief. You know,
Mhm.
and when you were talking through that, is first of all, understanding what the anger is coming from,
Mhm.
understanding that you're getting outside of your role.
Right.
Deal with healing yourself before you focus on everybody else in this relationship. So it
Mhm.
is, and then it also is a time. When you were talking about that stepping back and moving away, it made me remember the scripture that we read in the beginning where it says, "Meditate within your bed." So it's telling you go to
Mhm.
time out, be
Yes.
still. So
Yeah.
a lot of times in adults, we don't like to time out ourselves.
Mhm. Mhm.
If time out seems like a little childish word to you, say bench yourself. Stop playing this game. It's not for you. Whichever
Mhm.
word terminology makes you feel better. I always say bench
Mhm.
yourself so that way you're still a part of the team. You just
Mhm.
don't need to get out on the field right now. You're still in
Right.
uniform. We still love you. We still want you to be a part of the activities. But there is
Mhm.
a time, like you say, get out other people's business. It's time to take a
Mhm.
break and pull back from things. So
Yeah.
that when you were saying those line up with that mentality of anger comes from a whole lot of different places that we don't even
Mhm.
realize it because we like to
Mhm.
label it other things because as you say we don't want to tell people that we are angry people.
Mhm. Right.
We use that as a bad word when people say you're angry. Angry is not a bad word. It is the sin that comes and created out of that
Mhm.
anger that becomes
Right.
bad if we don't
Right.
take control over it. And then I
Mhm.
love the acronym that you use for no. Next opportunity. It's not about you.
Mhm.
I can tell you no and you not be offended by it. And that's what
Mhm.
we need to get in a place when somebody's telling us no, it's not
Mhm.
us personal. It's saying,
Right.
this is not my opportunity. This is not my time. And a lot of people
Mhm.
don't understand timing.
Yeah.
And it's great that my signature mastermind group is here listening because we are always inviting and encouraging people to come on. Sometimes
Mhm.
you'll feel like, okay, what is it? Why don't you want to join? You keep bugging people to join or
Mhm.
be a part of something.
Mhm.
You don't realize all the components that are going around on the vaccine times
Right.
of people's life. And if it's not right timing, when the connection
Mhm.
happens, it won't work out well together. So
Right.
we have to be there. Otherwise, it turns out to be a wreck. So we do have to discern. We should be really saying a no in our spirit. And that's why I say I love that acronym. So next opportunity, come back to
Mhm.
me, come back around again. It's not saying that I don't want to be a part of it. I don't want to be it. It's just next opportunity.
Mhm.
When you open the doors again, invite me again, keep the connection. Don't be
Right.
offended. No. So
Hey.
that just blessed me. And then I guess I didn't realize it was so many different places of anger. We like to
Mhm.
make one bucket of anger. So
Mhm.
now, is that assessment something that you have a link to? People can take a quiz, or how do you find out you are in these different steps or places of anger?
I do have an anger assessment and everything. And if you want, I could talk about, go into detail a little bit on the different areas that there are, that the different traits of anger.
I would
If
love
you
to,
would
because
like
I
to.
want to, because I'm not that person that'll say I'm not never angry. I think
Mhm.
I've just matured and
Mhm.
aged
Oh
to
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But I
probably
do.
control it in a different way. But I do always, I really want to always see myself. You know
Mhm.
how they always say when you go to God, let me see me.
Mhm.
So
Yes.
let me see the areas I need to work on, and our guests that are here today, I think they will benefit. So as you give some of these traits, they can at least go back and say, "Hey, that sounds like me."
Yeah. Look. Yeah. So I mean, when you look at some of the triggers that cause people anger, the triggers are indecisiveness. Behaviors, hitting and kicking, arguing, stealing, yelling, screaming, chewing gum with your mouth open,
Ooh.
okay, smacking, slurping your food or your drink,
Mm.
people talking loud on cell phones in public places, okay, bullying, whether it's an adult, a child, a friend, anybody, people begging is a trigger.
Wow.
Incorrect labeling in the store causes a lot of anger. Inappropriate bodily noises, whether in
Mm.
personal or in public. Walking in front of TV while someone is watching it. So as you see, it goes from things that that we don't think about as something that bother us, from the littlest issue to the largest issue. And a lot of these triggers I actually, I got from clients when I worked with a lot of court order clients here in Philadelphia. And these are some of the issues that was coming up, that a lot of people was experiencing. And like anybody, nobody wants to admit what they're angry about, but these are triggers, that cause people to become angry. But then when we think about triggers, I think about two types of anger, two of the most common types of anger that people have. That's number one, situational anger.
Mm.
Situational anger is based off of the situation that you are currently experiencing. Okay, a lot of people suffer from that, but people will say that it's something else. They will mask it with oh, they angry. They won't say they're angry. They'll say they just agitated, or they're upset, or they depressed. But we
Mm.
don't know why. It's situational depression, just like it's situational anger. Okay, they both is related
Yeah.
to what's happening. Displaced anger is the second most common form of anger. Displaced anger is when you are upset by someone and you don't respond to the actual person that has caused the problem, you respond to everybody else.
Mm.
Okay? We see these two forms of anger all the time. Okay? Because people will displace their anger, especially like when they go to work. They go to work, they doing what they have to do on their jobs. The people at work upset them. They come home and they want to argue with you.
Or the
I haven't seen
reverse.
you all day. Right, or reverse. And it's just like, wait a minute, I ain't seen you all day. What you coming here with that for? And it's based because of what happened before. Instead of them, leaving that issue where it was, they bring it home with them. And now it's manifesting over everybody, changing the atmosphere, changing the mood, changing the tone of how everything is going on in their homes. And so those two types of anger are, the most common, forms of anger that we have. We have I'm gonna say habitual anger. Now habitual
Mm.
anger is these people are grumpy, and they usually tend to get angry at all the small things. These individuals look for fights. Okay, so
Yeah,
you have
yeah,
to
yeah.
watch out for those folks. They look for fights. You know what I mean? They're stuck in a rut, and these people usually become very predictable after, over time they become predictable because you're like, here they come. I know what this is. I see where this is going. Some people we can, identify with. Moral anger. We see a lot of, issues going on right now with,
Yeah.
that people are angered, and it's over, other people's morals. where we see a lot of things going on with several court cases and things like that, that cause people, to be upset
Yeah.
and angered over it. Um, we just have to, when people see the rules being broken, that becomes a problem, and sometimes people won't address what the problem is, and people will, say, oh, well, they just being extra, or they're obsessive, trying to be obsessive compulsive. It has nothing to do with that. There's two different things. Is being able to, identify exactly what type of anger you are experiencing, because it does come into play in certain situations in your life. Should you have a situation, happening that might cause you, where you have to go to court or something like that. We have to be
Yeah.
descriptive on exactly
Yeah.
why you're experiencing, the behaviors and the tones that you have been displaying,
Yeah.
you know.
I love those types that you've given so far. But when you talked about them, I know most of my clients are in situational anger because they're
Hmm.
dealing with grief, or they're in anger because they are definitely displacing the blame.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah,
so
yeah, because,
those
yes.
are
Hmm.
basically the two types of clients I deal with. And I know my
Hmm.
husband is on here. He's making some comments, and it says
Hmm.
we as individuals need to learn the rule of life, which is learn how to flow with life. And that is
That's
very
facts. Hmm.
yeah,
That's
because
facts.
we get angry, but anger is really we trying to tell somebody else what they're doing is annoying us, or
Hmm.
you know,
Hmm.
okay, they annoyed us. Don't let it change and shift our day and our mindset.
Right,
This is most individuals get angry at others because they don't understand themselves. Yeah, when you don't know what your
right,
triggers are, you don't know you haven't got control of your
hmm,
own response and reactions. So
right,
a lot of those things, when we're talking about situations that arise, we
hmm,
have to learn us.
hmm, yes,
How can we respond and react? Those are my favorite R's, respond and
hmm,
reaction, because
hmm,
ultimately that controls your ultimate outcome on everything. And
right,
people always say, I want peace, but your response and reactions will never deliver peace for you. Never, because
right,
you are
right,
always stirring up drama and chaos. So
right,
how can you expect a desired outcome of peace? You're not a peaceable person.
hmm,
You are the
right,
agitator and the irritator,
right.
like you were talking about, the person who always you be like, oh, here they come. I know they gonna start some stuff. They the
Yep.
agitator. No, they're the agitator, but they'll be the first person to say, oh, this family crazy, this family is this, but it's that way
Hmm.
because as soon as you get there, you are the
Hmm.
blender. You the blaze that like
Hmm.
to keep cutting stuff up, messing it up. So that
Hmm.
is
Hmm.
the person that you are. And that's why
Yeah.
whenever you enter a place, peace can never exist in the same place that you exist because
Right.
you are that person. And so that's why I
Hmm.
say we all need to hear those types and really identify in ourselves. That might not
Yes.
be who we are 100% of the time, but there are
Hmm.
people that we are around, and
Hmm.
the moment they enter, it shifts our personality, and you need to really recognize, those shifts of personality.
Yeah,
So,
energy thieves, because they shift your whole energy, they change your whole mindset. They enter the room and you feel it. You
mhm.
feel the negativity coming, and it's just
Before they
like at
even
that point,
come.
yeah, you just become down. It's like, oh God, here they come. I gotta figure this out because I can't allow this energy in my circle. I gotta be able to let it go, and that's what a lot of people have to learn. Once you learn who you are and learn self, I mean, you'll be shocked at things you find out about yourself. Everybody has. I'm going off of what you were saying in regards to peace. Everybody has a different definition of what their peace is. And as soon as you find out what peace means to you, things start to come into play. Peace is not chaos. We know this.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
know this.
Yeah, but now when we're talking about this, like peace within God, you're gonna have to
Hmm.
learn how to have peace even when crazy people around you. Now, this is
Hmm.
great information that she's given us, Dr. White. Very great information. So I'm glad you're still here listening because I think we all need to understand that we have tendencies of anger. We all
Oh
do.
yeah.
When you're reading some of those things, like even the blame component. It
Mhm.
makes me think about, some of my clients, they come in, they are so angry at God,
Mhm.
they angry at
Mhm.
God. As if
Mhm.
they have a tantrum with God, he's gonna change their situation,
Mhm.
not realizing, okay, you blaming God for something that he had total control over anyway. So
Right.
maybe there is no blame here. You just need to go back and have a little sit down with God and say, where did you miss the communication? Because he had communication with you. He's prepared you for this. And plus,
Right.
he's going to stay there with you in this situation. So my thing is
Mhm.
always go sit back. Don't walk away from God now. So let's go sit back and
Mhm.
have a little conversation with him before you
Right.
start getting mad at God. So, it's these
Mhm.
conversations like before you start blaming your mother for your whole life, because you're an adult now, we like
Mhm.
to blame everybody else in the line
Mhm. The blame
before we,
game.
yeah, before we get to ourselves and really
Mhm.
address those issues. So
Mhm.
I love this conversation because I want people to remember what the title of this is don't be a fool in your
Mhm.
relationships, because
Mhm.
anger will cause you to be the fool. Like the
Mhm.
word says, nobody will know you're a fool until you open your mouth. So your
Hello.
response and your reaction to any other fool in the room makes you
Mhm.
become a fool. So it is how we control. I mean, I'm all about the
Mhm.
response and the reaction because
Mhm.
I know those are the only things that I really have control over to get my outcome. And I am
Mhm.
big, on peace. That's the one thing I told my husband
Mhm.
when we got married. He said, "What do you want from me? Peace. If anybody
Mhm.
tries to steal my peace, you need to make sure you
Mhm.
pray for my priest, you keep
Mhm.
my peace, don't allow nothing to come in to steal my peace." So, we
Right.
have the conversation real up front and quick. If something is
Mhm.
happening, I feel like it's getting ready to mess with my peace, I have a conversation with him, and he'll be like, "Yep, let's stop this now, because peace was the only rule that you gave me. That's the only thing,
Mhm.
only requirement." I'm like,
Mhm.
"Okay, this is getting ready to happen. Let's not let this happen."
Yep. And peace
So,
is so happy. Peace is such a happy place when
mm,
you can actually say that, I have experienced at some point in my life a peace of peace.
mm,
It's a feeling that when you get that internal peace and that mental peace, it's a place where you say, "Oh my goodness, I want to go back there. I want to go there back there. I want this for my life. I can't see it no other way. I can't see it no
mhm,
other way. I don't like drama, and it's just like once you become delivered from, all of the anger, all of the aggression, all of the rage, I'm telling you, peace is awesome, and granted, we all still have moments where we,
yeah,
we
we
experience some
always,
form of anger. We're human, we're not going to say you're going to have 100% peace all the time, but when you get there, it's like we need to fight hard for peace and less hard for drama and chaos.
yeah. Yeah, and it was something else that you said. Let me see. I should be writing down because I know we continuing this conversation. It was in let my little mind work. See if I can go back that far on the recording. It'll come back to me because I know when you were giving those different definitions. Oh, about staying in our lane, staying in
Mhm.
our lane. When we get out involved in other people's business, that will
Mhm.
steal our peace, which will cause us to be angry. But because we got involved in something that was one our business to begin with, and I
Mhm.
say that the people on the line who are parents, especially
Mhm.
parents of adult kids, we get
Mhm.
so caught up in trying to make their life perfect, and we create imperfect peace for ourselves. It ain't peaceful no more,
Right.
So it's all of those lines that we have to make sure that we keep boundaries around. So that is very, very, very important. So I like
Mhm.
what you said about when you get a state of peace. I
Mhm.
work hard every day that I wake up. That's the first thing I claim in my life. Today is peace. Today is peace.
Mhm.
So that way, when anything that comes my way that's not of peace, I delete the email that don't look like peace.
I know
I,
that's right.
let the calls that go to voicemail that don't look like peace. I delete the texts that don't look like peace. So
Mhm.
I keep peace. And
You
until
have to
peace comes,
declutter.
yeah,
Mhm.
like I'm in the no place, like you said. Next opportunity, let's That's not the opportunity you putting out for me. So that is not the one that I'm gonna pick up and take and engage in. So I stay in that place so that way I don't have to work so hard to get back there. It is harder to get back
Right.
somewhere than it is to just work to stay in that place. I'm gonna like it just kind of
Right.
having a clean house. It's easier to keep your house maintained than it is to get
Mhm.
fully junky. Then you look at it and it just becomes overwhelming. And that's kind of how
Right.
peace is. When you get so far away from it, it becomes
Mhm.
everything in life becomes so overwhelming that it feels like it
Mhm.
is so hard to turn around. And then you got to move things and people,
Mhm.
commitment out of the way to get back to peace. Versus
Right.
if you have taken those burdens on to begin with, it just makes it
Mhm.
an easier load to carry.
Right.
So that is my personal way to just try to keep peace. I don't take those burdens on. I don't take that weight on. I just
Mhm.
travel through the day. And when I'm giving him that look, it'd be like you need to wait a minute because we're gonna stay in this lane of place today.
Mhm.
We're gonna keep peace. We're gonna keep joy. And
Mhm.
we're gonna keep it in that place. But the thing
Yes.
is, if people know you well enough, they will
Mhm.
allow you to stay in a peaceful place too. Because if
Yes.
they love you, they're not trying to push you out of a happy place. And those
Mhm.
people who are around you who are trying to push you out of a happy place, I don't mean out your comfort zone now. I'm talking
Right.
about a happy place. We want people who are
Right.
going to stretch us and grow us and help us
Mhm.
develop. But we don't want
Right.
people who are going to stir up wrath in our lives.
Mhm.
So
Exactly.
that's the key difference on this journey.
Mhm.
So
Oh yeah, because
I
there's
see
enough people out
people
there
here.
stirring up trouble.
Yeah, yeah, we have people watching. Please put your questions on here if you got a question about anger, something about wrath, a specific situation you're dealing with, because
Mhm.
this is the time to get some expert advice. You have the anger expert here. So pop up something in the block if it's something that you're specifically going through, and if it's something that
Mhm.
can't be answered here, we'll definitely get you her contact information because the
Yes.
different types of anger that she has been speaking about, we say we can't see ourselves and none of that, we really lying to ourselves because something
Oh
irritates you.
yeah.
Yeah, because I can remember
Mhm.
back in the day just the sound of the scratching chalkboard. Praise God,
Mhm.
we don't have chalkboards anymore, they whiteboards, because that was just
Mhm.
so annoying. And that's why I say
Right.
annoyance can really turn into anger, especially if you feel like somebody's intentionally doing it to you. When that person
Oh
has
yeah.
no idea that it's even annoying you, but you're becoming angry, situational,
Mhm.
then you begin to blame the
Yeah.
person who's doing it. So it's just that craziness that we go through. Thank you, Dr.
Yep.
Shakisha, for joining us. This is some great information. She is a wonderful expert that's here. And then I can even remember forks. People scratch, when the forks hit the plate. It was
That
just
and that causes anger. People,
we were
it's
talking
like
about that screeching and that
that.
noise that was just
Mhm.
woo. And I was like, okay,
Mhm.
I'm gonna find the perfect place because I'm gonna make sure. And so I have found plates. I don't care how many times you drag the fork across them, it doesn't make a sound.
Mhm.
So there's a difference between a glass plate and a porcelain plate. Because if you got a
Right.
100% glass plate, it does not make that sound. I don't care how much you scratch that fork across it. There is
Mhm.
no noise. There is no sound. So as I'm saying, it's those things that I guard my peace. So I'm not annoyed. So because
Mhm.
nobody can annoy me now because I
Right.
have the situation that those little
Mhm.
things. That's why I say those
Mhm.
little things become triggers because you think somebody's doing it intentionally. You think somebody's
Right.
stirring you up when it's really not. Hey, my fork just happened to touch my plate because I'm trying to eat everything that you put on the plate. You should be taking it
Right.
as a
Right. Right.
compliment. Like, can I just put a little bit of food on the plate or something?
Mhm.
So that's why
Mhm.
I said it's those little things that I can go back and see. But I knew that I needed to make those adjustments, and
Right.
so now my husband knows why we have clear glass plates is because I made sure in my life
Mhm.
those were,
You knew what was bothering you. You knew your trigger. You knew your trigger. And
yeah.
and
So I was like,
that's the number one goal, being able to identify what your trigger is. And it was good you did identify it because you know what sets you off. And because you know this, you did what you had to do and you did the correct steps to removing it from your life so that now, like, okay, this is the problem, you out of here, and
Yeah,
doing what you got to do to make things work in a better manner.
yeah. Instead of trying, I think sometimes we try so hard to remove people because we think
Oh
it's
yeah.
the person
Mhm.
who is
Right.
trying to annoy us. And
Mhm.
like I say, I have probably got glass plates and removed porcelain plates out of my life probably more
Mhm.
than 20 years ago because
Right.
it was just, especially with little kids, it was one of those things. It was like, when kids eat, I was like,
Mhm.
okay, no, I just cannot
Mhm.
have
Mhm.
you
Yeah,
be
right.
sitting at,
Right.
you be sitting at the table and be like, oh my God, why don't these kids quit making
Mhm.
all this
Mhm.
noise? So it's those simple things that, can trigger us, and especially like
Yes.
you say, if you've already been annoyed from the pressures of work, and all it takes is one little trigger when you
One
get
little
home,
thing.
like to really want to go off somebody else. And like you say, what they did really have nothing to do with what happened that day. So I think that is
Exactly.
very important. And I can remember now what was important for me because you were talking about, some things to help people kind of calm down, create
Mhm.
that space
Yes.
between work and home.
Yes.
So, like for me in the morning when I used to go leave work to a job, I used to make
Mhm.
sure I listened to praise and worship music. I did not listen to the
Okay.
news. I did not listen to, gossip radio, reality TV. I didn't listen
Mhm.
to any talk show because, like you said, the world will get you riled up on that
Mhm.
moral anger,
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
and then the next thing you know, you're walking into the office talking to somebody about something that a conversation that went on in the radio, and they're looking like, oh my God, what is she mad about? Something
Mhm.
that went on the
Mhm.
radio. So I made sure that my environment from home to work
Mhm.
was a
Mhm.
praise and worship environment. So the moment that somebody encountered me, all I had was
Mhm.
praise and worship in my spirit. I had already,
Mhm.
dropped and released whether, the kids had said something, the husband had said something. I had got in a praise and worship place. So the
Mhm.
only thing that I could, first words that could come out of my mouth had to be of God because that was the only thing that was in my spirit. So that was the place where one of the things that gave me, and then the reverse on the way
Mhm.
home, I required my household to give me 30 minutes before we even
Mhm.
engaged in conversation. It was like, okay, I need to shed work off. And I used to
Mhm.
tell them, unless you want to get a response from me from work, let me
Right.
shed work first. So I was like, okay,
Mhm.
let me go rinse it off in the shower. And that was my mental exhaustion. I'm running it down the drain, y'all. So
Right. Right. Right.
all this work stuff or whatever happened today, I'm washing it down the drain, and then I can step out, in mama mode and wife mode,
Mhm.
take calls, cook dinner, do all the good stuff, homework without having to bring work into that blend. So those
Right.
were just techniques for me, kind of cutting off and rinsing off different things. So I think
Mhm.
everybody has kind of like those little spas and treats they do, but
Mhm.
definitely shutting off news is one for me
Yeah.
because in this COVID season, if you're not careful, you'll be angry, upset, and depressed
Oh
every day.
yeah, but you got to be careful of what you ingest too.
Mhm.
And I like how you said you cleaned yourself of not watching reality shows and not allowing that type of energy into your spirit while you're driving into work and things like that because a lot of people don't feel like that plays a role, but it does. The type of music that we listen to does play a role. Some music will hype you up and get you started to start your day, and other music you listen to, is okay. I'm having a calm day and I'll just listen to, this. It's like people don't realize that that does play a role, in that the type of podcasts and stuff that you listen to, the social media outlets you go to that play a role, because a lot of people take a lot of things like reality television as well as social media. They take it a lot of them take it a little bit too serious, and at the end of the day when you look at these type of platforms, it's for education and entertainment. You choose which one you want, but when you find it becoming harmful to you, know how to remove yourself. Know when it's important for you to take that break. I
Yeah,
mean, yeah, I mean, it can get, it can be damaging, to your emotional health, as well as to your mental health.
Yeah, I so agree because the thing is, a lot of times, if you're watching all of that stuff, it distorts your sense of reality too. What's
It can.
realistic in the space that you're in now. Um,
Hmm.
put a song out yesterday on my Instagram, and I think I shared it on my Facebook as well. There was a little clip from Demi Lovato, and it
Hmm.
was about she has this song out about dancing with the devil, and that's what we
Hmm.
all do when we get angry. We really just dancing with the devil, and
Hmm.
the words really caught me. I'm gonna let y'all know I listen to secular music, whatever y'all want to say. So
Hmm. Hmm.
y'all can comment all on the day long on that. I'm not that holy that I don't. I'm gonna tell y'all I don't listen to secular music. I love lyrics. All lyrics
Hmm.
have meaning behind them and support
Yes,
life.
they do.
But the song that she wrote really spoke to us when you're talking about situational anger.
Hmm.
Because she was saying in this her lyrics, it was saying, "I am fine," and I know that's a lie. I'm not
Hmm.
fine.
Hmm.
I got some issues
Right.
going on, and I really
Yep.
need to deal with them, and I really need some help. But as long as I'm
Right.
lying to myself, I'm dancing with the devil.
I'm gonna get through it.
I,
Right. Exactly. Because she didn't know her own truth.
yeah, and that's the
You
thing.
know.
That's what we're all doing when we're lying to ourselves. Anybody who's
Hmm.
watching this and saying, "Oh, I'm never angry. I don't
Hmm.
have any anger triggers. I don't need to move anything out of my way. I don't need to make any adjustments." Okay,
Hmm.
dancing with the devil because eventually that trigger is going to cause you to explode. I had to go
Oh
see a
goodness.
therapist. I had to go see a therapist because I had an issue because
Hmm.
90% of the time I would let you
Hmm.
walk on me. I would never
Hmm.
have a response or a reaction. Let me tell you,
Okay.
when you got to 98, I could take the
Hmm.
90%, but when you got to 98, I would
Hmm.
explode on you. I would explode.
Mm.
You'd be like, what happened? What did I
Right.
do? The thing is,
Right.
I never had a conversation with you about the
Hmm.
98. I never
Right.
had a conversation. And the thing is, I mean, I just overloaded and it just everything that you had ever done to me in life.
Hmm.
I mean, I can take you
Right.
back from when we were little children and tell you the thing that you did to me. I've internalized, I've kept these things. My therapist said, you don't have a middle ground. You don't have a place.
Right.
You're all the way at peace or you all the way
Hmm.
volcanic.
Right.
So there was no place in the middle to let people know that I was boiling up or
Right.
even,
And
or even telling myself that I was boiling up.
mhm.
It was
Right.
like, okay,
And that's not healthy.
yeah.
Hmm.
And I was telling myself, like Demi Lovato said, I'm fine. This doesn't bother me. That was lip service.
Hmm.
Because when
Hmm.
inside I was internally, it was cringing me. And I was like,
Right.
okay. And I think what happens, and I'm gonna be honest, in the Christian body, we have taken this,
Hmm.
allow people to slap you and turn the other cheek, and we turn the other
Hmm.
cheek and we say
Right.
70 times 70. Okay, yes, that's forgiveness. But in the
Right.
place of forgiveness, it does not
Hmm.
mean that you have not internalized these actions. It does not
Right.
mean you have been seen. And that's where, for me, I think it became because I had to understand
Hmm.
scripture says this, but there is so much more revelation in that scripture when we're talking about in this fleshly body, things
Hmm.
that we need to deal with, why we need to go to see a therapist, why we need to go get some coaching, why we need some healing,
Right.
because all of us need to have a person that we sit with because
Hmm.
that was life changing for me. It was, I mean,
Yes.
100% life changing for me. It changed my life where I'm not just calm on the outside. I am calm on the inside.
Right.
Where, like what they say, before
Hmm.
the storm, there is a calm, and that's the person I used to be. If I was
Oh
so
yeah.
yeah, if I was so calm, you knew that soon
Hmm.
the tornado in me was gonna come out. So
It was gonna come out. Right.
it's a real place. So I think people really I want that transparency for my life and my journey for people to understand that we
Hmm.
all have in us what are the triggers,
Hmm.
what are the things that we
Yeah.
can get out of the way so we don't be annoyed, and that annoyance
Hmm.
turns into anger or dislike of
Right.
people.
Hmm.
So just those things that we do have control over. We do have
Right.
control over. We have control over our environment, our atmosphere, our spirit. our response, our reaction. So those
Mm-hmm.
things are very crucial when we begin to talk about not being a fool, not being a fool.
Right.
I can tell you when I was being, honey, back in my 30s, I can tell you I was letting the world puppet me like a fool because I would just be like,
Mm-hmm.
mm. Let me
Yeah.
tell you, 70 times 70 that God gave me. I'm gonna let you know that.
Again, we all was a work in progress. When it comes to a lot of the things that we did, we was a work in progress. But once we got to our calling and we got to where we needed to be, we learned how to keep ourselves calm. We learned how to, channel those negative emotions, out the door and bring in more positivity and, being able to, release ourselves from some of the things that we know might cause us a problem, and granted, in our younger days, yeah, we did some stuff, you know, um, I mean, we overcame it though.
Yeah, and that's the key. For young people that watch this show, this is
Hmm.
not a free pass to say, well, I'm gonna wait till I get 50 or I'm gonna wait till I get 60
No,
to
y'all start now.
all of this. Because
Hmm.
the thing is, if you wait that long, there are things that you lose, there are things that you damage that you cannot
Hmm.
get back. So I mean,
Right.
I didn't tell all of that part of it, but the thing is, there is things that you tear up,
Hmm.
in that
Yeah.
relationship. There
Oh
are
yeah.
things that you cannot put back together again when you have explosive communication with people.
Hmm.
Because I don't care what you say, there are some things, I don't care how much you apologize and say you're sorry to a person, you cannot
Hmm.
take the words back or
Can't
the
come back.
actions
Right.
that have occurred.
That's right.
Like we talk about busting the windows out the car. Somebody might not forgive you for busting the windows out their car.
I don't think they will.
So I
I don't.
mean,
I don't. I don't.
it's places, once you've already crossed some boundaries with people, there are
Hmm.
sometimes just no way to get back. So we're talking to you right now in your 20s. If you
Yes.
are in your 20s, this is the opportunity to say, let me go talk to the anger doctor and get some of these issues resolved,
Hmm.
see what it is. Where do I lie in these 11 types? Am I
Right.
multiple types? Where do I see myself and what are the things that
Hmm.
I can do so I don't keep
Right.
falling in the same place, falling in the same place.
Hmm.
Even
Right. And it's never too early to start
tell
working
us,
on yourself. Hmm.
yeah, scriptures tell us to refrain from it as much as we can.
Hmm.
Refrain from anger because it didn't say we
Hmm.
not gonna be angry. Just try to
Right.
hold back, move the situations that are triggered. Let's see what my husband is saying. He said, we as individuals must learn how to focus on the individual emotions instead of that individual action. That is where
Right.
the problem lies. We spend most of our
Hmm.
time trying to fix the action of the individual, and that is wrong. Which is truly, we
It's
are
true.
trying
Very
to,
true.
yeah, we're
Hmm.
trying to change and shift other people, and we
Yes.
just don't have control over other people. And that is something we only, this is us.
You can
This
only
is who
control you.
we're
You
supposed
can't control everybody else.
to.
And the only
I'm
person
telling
that's
you,
going to change is you.
you don't even have control over you 100% of the time because you have went back and checked yourself and be like, Lord, I lost
Hmm.
control in that moment. Lord,
Yep.
and that's where your repentance come in. And
Right.
that's why it says, bench yourself, time out, go
Hmm.
lay in the bed and be still. So
Yes.
before you do something,
Hmm.
before your response and reaction cost you
Hmm.
a relationship that you can't get back. Now,
Okay.
I'm not talking about a relationship just in a
Hmm.
marriage. I'm talking about your
Right.
job relationship. I'm talking
Yes.
about sometimes we got people, your neighbors, you've done something to your neighbors that y'all can't even come out on the
Hmm.
street and talk to each other. You
Yep.
got girlfriends or family that you hadn't talked to in 10, 20 years, but you holding
Hmm.
on to some grudges or some foolishness. This is a time of maturity in our lives. I don't care how
Right.
old you are.
Hmm.
There is a space that you need to let go. There is a
Hmm.
place that you need to say, okay, I'm not going to allow my past to have
Hmm.
control over my
That's
peace.
right.
And that's where I am. I'm not gonna allow my past to have control over my peace. So
Hmm.
I am blessed. So Dr. Tyra, what would be the thing your mantra. You know how some of us have this one affirmation that keeps us in that place of calmness, anger. What would be yours?
Mine is I protect my peace at all costs. I
Excellent.
protect my peace at all costs, and I choose me. I
Hey,
choose me before we at all costs, and I'm going to do what I can to PYP, protect my peace. I'm protect your peace and protecting my own peace, because if you don't protect your peace, who's going to protect it? And another thing I like to say is don't allow reality to ruin your day, because we go into looking at things that's happening throughout our lives, or lives of others, and we look at other people's realities, and we bring that energy into us, and we allow that to ruin our day and ruin what we have going on. Try not to focus on what others have going on, and focus only and strictly on yourself. And so definitely protect your peace. That's my mantra.
yes, I love that. Protect your peace. Yeah, that is my desired outcome for every day of my life. So
Mhm.
I am a strategist, formula creator. So when I say desired outcome, my response and my reaction always has to meet my
Mhm.
desired outcome. It's the
Mhm.
formula for my life, and that's
Yep.
that's what I teach people, my clients, how to make your R and R equal your D. So
Mhm. Yep.
that is how we live. And
Mhm.
my husband, his last thing is, this is a great topic, ladies, and very educational. Yes, we are not the entertainment channel. I mean, we believe in having fun and being real. But the
Yes.
thing of coming here is always content that people can apply to their life right now.
Mhm.
These are right
Right.
now tips that Dr. Tyra gave you, right now things that will give you peace and that will
Mhm.
actually allow you to see the anger that lies within you. And that's the
Right.
key thing we want to talk about today, is the anger that lies within you. So, saying all that greatness, I want to make sure that I remind you of what my individual mantra always is for this show, is that my today is going to be better than my yesterday. So let's
Ooh, I know
remember
that's right.
my today is better than yesterday. Yesterday could have been 100% grand, but today is going to be on 101. So I'm telling you, every day I look for the God expectations of my day to even be better than yesterday. So I claim
Mhm.
that. I claim that for you all. But the thing is, I can claim it for you all day, but you got to run in it. So that is what I'm
Mhm.
telling you, to run in your better today and carry
Mhm.
on. And I am blessed. Thank you, Dr. Tyra, because that was some wonderful information. And I know you said on IG is angry Dr. Tyra.
Ye-
And how can we
Yes.
find you on other social media?
Okay, so I want to thank you. Thank you, Queen, for having me on your platform today. This was an awesome discussion, and I'm so glad, I was able to be a part of this discussion with you today. And you can find me on Facebook at Tyra Gardner, or you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Anger Dr. Tyra. That's ANGER period Tyra, TYRA. And you can also find me on my website is wellnesscenterofmindfulness.com. So you can find me those places. And also, if you want to send me an email, you can send me an email to my outlet number 4 me at gmail.com.
We were blessed. We were blessed. I love the conversation that was had. And now all I say is go apply what you all have learned, because all of us have all this access to all of these tools within us. Now let's go out and run and apply them so we can build our best today. And I will see you all next Saturday, same time, same place. And we will still be talking about this month of April. Don't be the fool in your relationship. So thank you very much.
Thank you.